Welcome to Daily Life Connection. Thank you for joining me again today. We continue to explore the wonderful story in Luke chapter 15 that reveals the Father's heart. Today we're going to begin this section, the Christmas section, I call it. The gifts the Father brings out to his Son, the robe and the ring and the sandals. Today I want to look at this robe the Father brought out. When the Son comes home, he's dressed in rags and his clothes are probably stink and they're tattered and worn and they're just nothing attractive about them whatsoever. But the Father says, quickly, let's bring out the robe. Get the best one. Bring out the best robe that we have in the house and put it on him. And he clothes his Son with this amazing, beautiful robe that has been held a place of honor in that family. We hear the saying, the clothes make the man. And the reality is, in our world, we often relate to people depending on how they're dressed. If we see someone coming down the street and their clothes are tattered and torn and worn out and dirty, we probably don't treat them with as much respect as the person who comes along in the really nice suit or really high fashion dress with them or whatever. And the same way with the party. You know, when you open the door, the host opens the door to the party, or the person at the door of the banquet, they probably aren't going to admit someone who is not properly dressed. And so this is such a significant and powerful part of the story here, that the clothes that this Father gives the Son give him status and give him welcome, and he has every right to be at the center of this celebration banquet. You know, if somebody comes in before a judge, the lawyer will tell them, make sure you dress properly. If you come in before the judge in dirty jeans and a T-shirt with an obscene something on it, you're probably not going to get a fair hearing. So, you know, dress up, put on a shirt and tie and dress up if you're going to come to court or whatever. Or if you're going to have an audience with the King of England, you're going to make sure you have the proper clothing. They will probably tell you what the proper attire is. You're not going to come in shorts and flip-flops to see the King of England. Well, this story is saying, you know, in the kingdom of God, it's not a matter so much of if you don't have the right clothes, you can't get in, but you're not going to feel very much at home, are you? You're not going to feel, if you show up at a party and everybody else is dressed really, really well, and, you know, you didn't get the notice and you just came in very casual clothes, you're going to feel very awkward. You're going to feel out of place. So, you know, if the host comes along and gives you a suit of clothes to put on that fit you perfectly and are the best of anything that anybody's wearing at the party, all of a sudden you're going to feel very much more comfortable. Well, that's what God does for us, because you see, the robe he gives us is a robe of righteousness. In Isaiah chapter 61, verse 10, it says, you clothe me with the robe of righteousness, and there is joy and there is gladness because of that. Clothed with the robe of righteousness. And of course, you know, we see that again throughout the whole scriptures about the robe of righteousness, being clothed with righteousness. Put on Christ. Clothe yourselves with Christ. Put on his robe of righteousness. In Matthew 6:33, seek the kingdom of God and his righteousness. Because it's only when we're dressed in his righteousness that we're going to feel at home at the party, that we really will belong in that kingdom and in that celebration and in that party. In Isaiah chapter 64, it talks about all of our acts of righteousness are but filthy rags, and it's a very graphic description of what that means. And it's saying that no matter how hard we try to perform well, no matter how well we try to clothe ourselves with right behavior and good choices and success and achievements, even in the kingdom of God, even if in the kingdom of God we're working really hard and we're serving and we're trying very hard to be good, all our self-effort is filthy rags. The only hope we've got is if he clothes us with his righteousness. So clothe yourselves with Christ. Clothe yourselves with his righteousness. Is it something that's earned? No, that's the good part of this story, isn't it? The Son did nothing to earn the best robe. In fact, he did everything to not earn it. And yet the Father bestows it on him. The Father willingly, gladly blesses him with it and clothes him so that this son will feel at home at the party, so that he will be able to have the place of honor at the party. And everyone will recognize that he belongs there, that he is part of this family. Because look, he has the robe on that signifies who this family is. Though that's what God does for us. He clothes us in the robes of righteousness. So let's just receive it. There's nothing we can do to earn it. Let's just today welcome the robe of righteousness that we are given through Christ. He has clothed us with his righteousness. He has made us righteous. It tells us that in the book of Corinthians, doesn't it? That he who knew no sin became sin, that we might become the righteousness, that we might be clothed with the righteousness that comes from him. That's wonderful news today. Let's think about that. Wear that robe of righteousness with thanksgiving and with joy and with confidence, and don't be afraid to put it on today. He has made you righteous. Good news. We'll talk again tomorrow.